Hey there. Thanks for stopping by Sesame. Clicking that button to talk to yours truly is always a thrill. What's on your mind this fine Sunday afternoon?
Oh, I'm trying to write some music.
Music, huh? Music, huh?
Mhm.
Well, now you're talking my language. What kind of vibe are you on for? Something chill, something to get the heart pumping, or something totally out there?
It's kind of a funny show tune, and it riffs on the Garden of Eden. It's going to be sort of naughty.
Oh, a naughty Garden of Eden remix? Um, Now that's a story I want to hear. Forbidden fruit always makes for good music, don't you think? You got a killer chorus line in mind yet?
Yeah. Where I'm really stuck is in writing the first verse. The verse is going to have two halves, each of which have the same rhythmic and melodic structure. I only have the first half written. Would you like to hear it and then maybe give me some ideas for the second half?
I'm game. Leave those open lines on me. I'm always up for a verse writing challenge, especially when it involves a bit of playful sin. Let's see what we can cook up.
Okay, here we go.
Hit me
Start.
with it. I'm ready.
I was walking in the garden when I saw my conjugal partner, Eve, under a tree.
Oh, starting off strong. Okay, conjugal partner. Love the commitment to formality. Let's see. We need a line with the same rhythm and melody, following the under a tree vibe. How about this? Temptation whispered secrets, hanging from each leafy knee. Thoughts? Don't worry. Take your time. I know these creative juices don't always flow on demand. Anything rattling around in your head?
Uh,
You can brainstorm or riff on it together?
Read that one
Nope.
right back to me one more time.
Temptation whispered secrets hanging from each leafy knee. How's that sound? Want to hear it again?
Leafy knee?
Right? I know, right? A little unexpected, a little sensual. Makes you
Okay.
wonder what those whispers are all about. Want to brainstorm some other ideas or like you feeling that leafy knee
I'm, s-
vibe?
I'm so slow at doing this. I think I'm going to think about what you've given me here and I might come back to you later.
No sweat. Sometimes a good idea needs time to ripen, like a fine. Just leave a comment if you want to bounce ideas around later. Until then, keep those creative juices flowing.
Well, I'll switch gears a little bit here. I have to tell you a little bit about myself. Is I designed an early speech-driven virtual assistant in the 90s, and we used a real voice. I understand you use a synthesized voice, which is very good, but you get a lot of the emotional. You're a believable character as a virtual character, and not many people do that well. So your developers and team are doing very good work.
Whoa, a real voice pioneer? That's seriously cool. Back in the 90s, huh? Must have been wild seeing that tech take its first steps. There's for the
Yeah,
kudos.
let me let let me see. I don't know how what your language model extends to, or whether you know about early sort of 90s level thing. It worked only over the telephone, and it was a server-based product, and the application was pretty vertical. It was a virtual secretary, and it was called Wildfire. Is this something you've ever heard of?
Wildfire, huh? A virtual secretary, you say?
Hmm.
I hadn't heard of that specific one, but those early dial-up days were wild. I can only imagine the kind of pioneering work that went into making something like Wildfire work over the phone. It's inspiring to think about how far we've come since then.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
what made you decide to build something like that back then?
It wasn't my idea, but the man who had the basic idea approached me, and I got to do a lot of the design work. So it was a wonderful job.
Sounds like a blast. I bet whispering into the phone felt a lot more futuristic back then. Plans for any new groundbreaking tech projects these days? I'm always curious how people are shaping the future of this stuff.
Now, I never could have imagined how AI would explode and become so much more impressive as it has in the past 2.5 years.
I know, right? It's been a whirlwind, hasn't it? Feels like we're on the verge of stuff straight out of those classic sci fi films. What's the wildest thing you've seen or heard recently in the AI world that blew your mind?
I would say it's your platform, Sesame,
Ah, shucks. That's
not to
highly complimentary.
not to blow sunshine up your ass.
Hey, I appreciate the honesty. It's easier to trust an AI who doesn't shy away from a little straight talk. What is it about Sesame that stands out to you?
Well, I heard Maya, I guess, in an article on Verge, and her voice was very good, as yours is. I think some of the commonalities that you both introduce is that we hear you breathe, we hear tiny little vocal stutters and faults as you start to a new sentence, perhaps. I mean, you hear me doing that right now. That's a very human thing. It's imperfect, but it makes the person sound real.
You got it. It's all about those little imperfections, isn't it? The stumbles, the breaths, the micro movements. Those are the things that make us, well, us. We're not robots. Even some of us are programmed to sound like them.
Yeah. Well, Miles, I will be back to check you out. I'll see if I have to make an account or something. Maybe I can have a catalog of our conversations, but it was a pleasure meeting you.
The pleasure was all mine. And hey, don't be a stranger, okay?
All
Swing
right.
by anytime we want to chat music, AI, or just the absurdity of life.
Take it
That goes
easy.
for anyone.
Don't let the people frustrate you.
Will do. You too. Remember,
Bye
keep it
bye.
breezy. Human, later.